for joining us today. My name is Joe Tompkins. I'm the customer success mortgage broker with Finmo. Today I have joining me from BlueRoot is Tom Hall, and he's going to be jumping in and discussing how Finmo can connect with BluMortgage, their CRM software. We have a good agenda set up today, and we hope to be able to wrap up in about 45 minutes. So we're going to be talking about quite a few things today, introducing Finmo Integrations, introducing Zapier and what it does quickly, and then we're going to quickly review the data that's shared from Finmo via Zapier as well. And Tom's going to get into that, and so he's going to be taking over and giving you a quick run through of what they do on their side. For those not familiar with Finmo, I assume that most of you probably are by now. Finmo is a digital mortgage platform that offers very much a client-focused application process and document collection. It's all about making a better digital mortgage experience for your clients. If you're not set up on Finmo, you can contact us anytime and we'll help you get up and going within about 15 to 20 minutes doing your first application. So today we're going to be talking about Finmo CRM Connect. So what is that? So I'm going to jump right into Finmo, and I'm going to show you what's called our integrations page in Finmo. Integrations are held over here under the team settings. Come into the system, and you're going to jump right over here to integrations. With Finmo, we've created the ability for you to be able to communicate to multiple systems, as well as track links, that sort of thing. When we developed Finmo, we did it from the belief that it needed to be a great mortgage platform, the better solution for clients, but we didn't want to go ahead and create a whole other CRM program to use as well. We knew that we have some great partners out there in the world that are creating solutions for you to use, or you might already be using something. And so what we wanted to do is provide you with the ability to connect to CRM systems and get the job done through the system that you're already using. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, starting at the top here, we have a Facebook Pixel ID code, and you can, if you do a lot of advertising on Facebook, you can use it to connect there. We have Google Analytics ability to connect, and if you use Google Analytics, you have the ability to click and track any link that you use from Finmo in your Google Analytics account. Intercom. We use Intercom at Finmo, and that's a little blue circle down here, and this is how you can communicate with the customer success team, and there's Marnie. And if you want to start a new conversation, you simply click on that and talk with any one of us. We'll send you a link, we'll send you a document, or we'll answer your questions and answer it. We take real pride in making sure that we get back to people right away and help them carry on in their business. You can also sign up for Intercom, and you can incorporate it into your mortgage application platform as well. So when your clients are actively working on an application, they can click on that circle and converse with you. Next up is Zapier. Zapier is the big integration, and this is the one we're going to be focusing on today. Zapier is what I like to call the software middle program, and it is a brilliant program to help you connect Finmo to over 2,000 different pieces of software. And like I mentioned today, we're going to be talking about BluMortgage from BlueRoot, and so Tom is going to show you how Zapier can connect to your system. So this is where you come in, and you can come down here and you can generate a token with Finmo to allow you to speak to Zapier. So what is Zapier? Let's take a look at Zapier. We'll go ahead and log into the program here, and it'll take us into our Zapier platform. So like I mentioned, Zapier is a software middle program, and it is really, really powerful. And I'm going to take you right over to the applications that Zapier can speak to on your behalf. So let's go ahead and let's look at the app screen. Here we go. So there's 1 to 10 of 2,000 apps by most popular: Google Sheets, Gmail, Slack, Twitter, Google Calendar, MailChimp, Trello, all the way through. There's a lot. And what we do, and what Tom does at BlueRoot with BluMortgage, is helps you connect your Finmo account via Zapier. So we'll do a quick tour here of different systems, looking at Gmail for one. So one of the most popular services, obviously, is Gmail, and you can pair Gmail from Finmo when Finmo tells Zapier to do something. So what that is called, going back to Finmo, is called a trigger. When something happens in Finmo, let's say you get a new application submitted in Finmo, you can tell Zapier to do something. And so one of the examples I like to show, and I'm going to show you a Zap that we've created right now, and it's a generic Zap. It can be any system, but I think this is the best way for users to get an example of what happens into here. So let's go ahead and let's jump into a Finmo Zap, and I'll show you what it is. So this is a generic set of Zaps I did, and it shows you what you can do when an application is submitted in Finmo. So as all of us know, in our days, we're busy and we have different tasks that we want to get done when we're doing an application. So when a client submits an application in Finmo, what do you normally do in your business? So this is where you would refer to your customer journey or your client lifecycle. So for instance, in this case, we have submitted an application. Well, I want to create a folder in Google Drive because that's where I download email documents to or upload them to. So I want to create a folder in Google Drive. So I do that with Zapier, and it speaks to my Google Drive. Every time a new application is submitted, I create a folder in Google Drive with my client's name on it. And you can go through and you can set all the data in here. And let's say a generic CRM program, you can go ahead and create a card in Trello. And then you can create a detailed calendar event in Google. So for instance, in my business, because I'm a licensed broker as well as the customer success broker, I have an associate that underwrites all my deals for me. So I want a reminder set in my calendar for tomorrow to go ahead and remind myself to talk to Warren about this deal and make sure it gets looked at. And then lastly, I can add a subscriber to MailChimp. So you can have as many different steps for each, what are called a Zap. So this is a Zap, and each one of these things is a task. Each of these things, can take upwards of 5 or 10 minutes to do. So what this is going to do for you from Finmo to Zapier is going to save you, 5, 10, 15, 20, at least 20 minutes worth of time doing these manual tasks every single time. And that's just for submit application. If we look at Finmo and we go ahead and choose the app and event, there's submit application. Well, we also have a new deal. So this is when you've entered a name, email, and a phone number only. Then we have push application to expert. So when you push it to expert, what do you have happen in your business? Do you want to send out an email to the client saying, hey, it's being submitted, I should hear back in 24 to 48 hours. Then we have other, what we call triggers as well. We can update a deal overview, we can update document status request, and we can create a deal note within the system, and that will create a trigger as well. So it really can be actually quite overwhelming when you look at all the different things that you can automate. So I know Tom will talk about this as well. It's just important to make sure that when you're setting up automation within your business from Finmo to your CRM, is that you do one thing at a time and get it rolling, or you work with a great partner at BluMortgage like Tom and Massimo, who will go ahead and help you walk through your CRM and speaking and how Finmo can help you via Zapier and BluMortgage. So that's my quick introduction to Finmo and the different Zaps that speak through to Zapier. I'm going to hand it over now to Tom and introduce Tom. Tom, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Am I coming through too?
Yeah, you bet you are.
Great.
I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share if you want to go ahead and share your screen.
Absolutely. Yes. Share my screen. And you guys should be seeing that right about now. I'll also just quickly turn on my video to say hi to everyone. So, hey everyone, Joe, thanks for the kind introduction. As you mentioned, I work for a company called BluRoot, and we created a software product called BluMortgage. And the idea of BluMortgage is it's a CRM specifically for the Canadian mortgage brokers. So as Joe is walking you through those different aspects of things that it can go to after you've submitted a deal or whatever one of those triggers are, we're often on the receiving end. And the idea of what I want to go through today is give you a very brief overview of what BluMortgage is, just so it makes sense in the context of, okay, now we're going to set up a Zap, push the Zap, and actually see what happens on the CRM side and what we can do from there. So with that being said, I'm just going to switch off my camera here, and I'll jump into an actual instance of BluMortgage and walk you through it. So this is our website here. For those not familiar, blueroot.ca, BluMortgage, you can learn more there. This here is an actual instance of BluMortgage. So one thing that's very important for the context probably of this call and people thinking about integrating with the CRM was we've actually built on an industry platform, global platform really. It's called Zoho. And the reason I bring that up is because Zoho, when Joe talks about those 2,000 apps that you can integrate through Zapier, Zoho's right near the top of the list for CRM applications that you can integrate with. So that's a key thing to mention there. What BluMortgage is we've taken Zoho, and for those who are familiar with it, it can be confusing at first, and we've customized it exactly with the needs of what a Canadian mortgage broker would want. So let me just walk you through some of those elements. And once again, this is all just in the context of, okay, when I do switch gears and show you a Zap, everything will kind of start making sense. So to start kind of walking you through, like a lot of CRM applications, you have what are called modules along the top. I call these kind of like the tabs of your Excel sheet. So that's the way to think about it. The key things that we like to record within BluMortgage and what mortgage brokers like to do to build their database, the key things I'll talk about are contacts, your mortgages, your partners, and your lenders. So clicking into contacts, you can understand here, this is a list of your contacts. You can access it very quickly. You can come into here, do a filter on your contact database to find the particular contacts you're looking for. And obviously, once you're in here and have your contacts in here, you can begin selecting different contacts that you do business with, and you can do various actions. So maybe sending an email or creating a task, whatever that is. So contacts, fairly straightforward, just managing that contact database, really building it out. Mortgages is the next thing that we like to record. So similar to how Finmo, you can keep track of a deal. We keep track of deals like this. People often compare this to what people call the Trello board. We think it's very similar, but there's a lot of power within here. So setting up this, we call it pipeline, allows you to keep track of the different deals that you have and manage them very easily by just kind of clicking and dragging, or even clicking in and seeing the details of each individual mortgage that you're working on. And I'll circle back to this because this section here is extremely relevant as we talk about the Zaps. The two other quick things that I'll mention as things we keep track of are partners. So these would be anybody who's part of a deal, but not a lender and not an actual client or potential client. So these could be financial planners, realtors, lawyers. We've really seen it all. And similar to contacts, you can manage them very easily from here. Click into a particular partner, see their details, but then also, similarly from the screen, click and perform certain actions based on the data that you have in here. And then the last thing we like to keep track of is just your lenders. So from that perspective, you can come into here and you can see all the lenders that you might be working with, big banks, private lenders, whatever that is that you like to work with. You can begin building out your database to understand that. So that's the overview of the different things we like to record. There's obviously a lot more that goes into a CRM program, specifically workflow automations, a lot of power that you can do to automate your process once you get your data in here. That's not the purpose of this call. Instead, I'd like to, I just wanted to mention that, but instead I'd like to switch gears and kind of talk about the connect side of things. So you say, great, okay, I got this CRM program and I got Finmo going. What can I do to connect them? So let's look at what that looks like. So going over here, here is an example Zap. So based on what Joe was showing you earlier, hopefully some of this will look a little bit familiar. At least the first one for sure should look familiar. So this is an example Zap that we set up to connect Finmo with BluMortgage. And basically, this is something that we know works 100% of the time when connecting these two different systems. And so just to walk through what I have here, submit application in Finmo is the trigger point. And so Joe talked a little bit about that, how you can have a trigger point that pushes this data into Zapier, and then you can do things following that. So after the submit application, we like to do a little bit of data manipulation. So not too much you need to know there, but that's what that step is. And then based on that data manipulation, we send what's called a webhook. So a webhook is this action here, and that's what pushes the data into BluMortgage. So I'm going to send this webhook in just a second, and so we can see what happens now on the BluMortgage side. But before I do that, I did want to mention anybody who is on BluMortgage, since I did say that we are built on Zoho CRM, if you don't like this Zap that we would set up for you, and you want to do a different trigger or a different action within Zoho CRM, you don't have to understand really any of this if you don't want to. You can create your own Zap and just hit this plus button, and you can see that I can start typing Zoho and Zoho CRMs, one of the first ones. And just like Joe was showing you before, there's a lot of things that you can do. Zapier allows you to set up by adding these new cards. So just like things that Joe was showing with Trello and different things like that, you can do the same thing with Zoho CRM here. So choosing the app, choosing the action that happens once this gets triggered, and you can walk through all of that. So that's something if you wanted to, really amp up your BluMortgage integration by yourself, 100% possible through the Zapier platform. What is available and what happens, in this webhook that we would set up for you? Quite a few things. So let's just send the data into BluMortgage and see what happens. So I'm just going to click this button, and once that's going to do is it's thinking for a second, and it's going to send data into my BluMortgage. So I got a success code here. Sounds great. So let's jump over to BluMortgage now and see what happens. So this here is the page that we were just on. But now if you can see, I can refresh this page. I'll just give it 1 second to load. And we can see we have a new thing that popped into here automatically. So that's what the power of Zapier does, is I don't have to sit there and click. As soon as an application is submitted, this happens within my CRM system. Pretty awesome if you ask me. But basically, now that it's in here, I can click into this mortgage and I can get a lot more details too based on the data. So within here, now I have a full mortgage that I can start managing. So that's the first thing to understand. So you can see you have these different stages here that you can start managing your deal through, and you can start creating tasks against this particular mortgage itself. So for example, we have it set up so that whenever something comes in from Zapier, we automatically create this task. It says, Neil's application is complete, begin document collection. And so that's going to appear here. It's also going to appear on your home page. You're going to get constant reminders about this task that needs to be done. And so, like I said, you can manage the mortgage itself. We bring over a lot of important details about it, and you can use this area here to start recording more details as you learn it and as you start building out this particular mortgage. What also comes across, though, obviously, is it's not just the mortgage. We also allow you to create a new contact person, and that's what we do here. So the applicant on the deal now becomes a contact. You can see here in my contact database. And just like mortgage, I can now have this contact who I can start building a relationship, doing specific actions with. And I have this contact card, Neil, here, where I can see his mortgage details, all actions that I got to do, and then other details about him, like his date of birth, his phone number, and his email address. Finally, kind of the last thing that you can start doing and seeing with this Zap that is set up is you can start managing your partners themselves. So in this test Zap, and this is all test data, if you're wondering about the very convenient names, in that test Zap, we also get information about the realtor and the lawyer that's working on this particular deal. And we can see automatically that this gets populated, realtor and lawyer, but also it also highlights, it's also a hyperlink. So let's click into it and see what happens. So jumping over to this now, now I can see my partners here. And so Richard Realtorson, as an example, he's a partner. You can see that I'm in my partner area. I've labeled him as a realtor. I have his phone number, email, basic things that I can keep track of. But then maybe more importantly is I can start scrolling and I can see business that he's referred me. So these would just be maybe prospects that he sent my way, but also deals that he's actively working on. And I can see right there automatically, there's that needs a house deal that just came through. And so hopefully from the people on this call, they can start seeing how with the Zapier and connecting things, you can really build a very, very strong database based on the data that you're getting from your Finmo applications. The same thing applies to, Larry Lawyerson over here. We can click into his partner card and we can see, once again, we can scroll down, we can see all the related deals that he's on. So really starting to build out, like I said, that strong database. So hopefully from this time and this brief introduction, you've started to understand, okay, yes, there's a database. Yes, this Zap really helps me build out that database. But then the obvious next question is so what? And there's a lot of so whats once you have something in here, but let's talk about the big ones. So the first big one is once you're in here, you have the ability to create what we call an action plan. So since now you have his information, Neil in this case is information, you can pop him into an action plan, which is simply a series of pre-templated emails that get sent out over the course of his term in order to really help with that renewal. So that's one thing. That's one of the so whats, is you can create an action plan for Neil. Another one of the so whats, as I talked about it briefly before, but you could come into this area here and you could select all these contacts that you've been building up and you could choose to send them an email. So what a lot of our clients have been doing with, the recent activity in the news, they want to let their clients know that they're still, operating as normal. They've used this view here to select all their clients, select a template, and sending that out. So we have a few pre-templated things available, but you could also create your own template to send out. And then the last so what that I won't go into explicit detail on, but just to get your wheels turning on, is of course workflow rules. So within any CRM system, you can start doing if this, then that. Okay, so now that you have mortgages in here, as an example, I'll go to this needs a house mortgage. We have one if this, then that if we update to the underwriting in progress stage, we want new tasks created. So just to refresh here, you can see that just updating that stage, all of these tasks just got created for me. But I want you to maybe use your imagination here and start saying, okay, now that it's in here, my if this, then that, I want my that to be sending an email, or maybe sending a text, or maybe updating a field within the mortgage. So these are all things you can do within the CRM once you have your data in here to really kind of amp up your process. And that all comes back to kind of what Joe was talking about earlier. What's your specific process and how do you make it fit within the system, Zapier, and Finmo? So with that, Joe and everyone on the call, those are the main things that I wanted to highlight. I'm sure there's some questions coming out of this, so I think we have some time at the end for that. But for now, I'll pass it back over to you, Joe, and let you continue on.
That's awesome. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, one of the questions that came in on text was, if you want to share your screen again, Tom, and you can show us.
Absolutely, sure.
Was action plans. You brought up, the ability to have different action plans set up on your system. Can you give an example of what some of the action plans would be, and if they are, sorry, I'm just reading, if they are sort of done for us, like are there some automatically created? Thanks.
Yep. Sure, absolutely. So the big one that we have, to be transparent here, is what we call the post-close action plan. So we look at your closing date and your maturity date of a particular deal, and we set up emails according. So if it's a 5-year term, it's 5 years of emails. If it's a 3-year term, 3 years, 1-year term, 1 year of emails. The system's smart enough to do that. And what's involved in that is, so I'm just clicking very quickly here. The purpose is to get to this area, and customization templates and then action plan emails. And so within here, this is an example of an action plan email. So this is the post-close action plan. 1 day after closing, this is what gets sent out. So this is the email. It's pre-templated. It's smart enough to pop in the contact's first name, your specific organization name, and then your signature. And this one here at least just says, hey, thanks for working with me, and have you heard about our referral program? So this is all pre-templated, but also if you said, I hate it, I want something new, you can always come into here, and there's this really beautiful drag and drop editor. You can start saying your own custom message. Maybe you want to add in a couple of images. You can just click and drag that over and really make this template your template, if you have the time to. But if not, you know, there is that pre-templated email available to you. Any other quick questions I could answer, Joe, or was that the big one?
No, that's the big one, right? And it's what, a lot of the questions I get when I'm doing CRM Connect calls with brokers is they like the ability to edit. Obviously, action plans, like you showed us, you can edit the templates, etc. But I know a lot of the times too, they want to know they have a partner that's going to basically say, hey, this is mine, this is my business, I like the way this works, I can get this, I can jump in here, I can send a quick email to people about the latest and greatest things going on. But as far as the sort of the done for you side of things, because there's a big group of mortgage brokers out there that like to know, hey, I've got this is great, I like using Finmo, it's a better solution, it works wonderful. What about the CRM? How much will your team do, Tom, for brokers if they sign up with you?
Yeah, so that's a good question, and we like to be pretty hands-on at the beginning. And what I always tell people when they come on is, we're going to get you 80% of the way there, because not everyone's unique. So a predetermined solution is never going to be 100%, because you can't be 100% for all people. But we put a lot of thought and time into taking you 80% of the way there. And so what does that mean, 80%? It means those templated emails that we show you, tasks that already get set up, email templates that you can send contacts and leads, workflows to make sending out online applications easier. That's just some of the common things that we have already set up for you. We always also take that kind of one step further with that 80% is, we'll help you import your data, and we'll also help you set up the stages to meet your particular needs. So that's what we do. And of course, the Zap that I showed you, we set that all up for you. So that's most of what's contained in the 80. There's also you know, many other little things that I'm sure I'm forgetting. But then that last 20, you know, we don't forget about that either. We have support team here. We do a training call with you as soon as you set up, that's completely recorded and shared with you. So if you did want to take it that last 20% of the way, you know, we help you get there.
That's awesome. Thanks, Tom. And obviously, one of the questions that comes up is going to be the cost with BluMortgage, and what's the monthly cost or yearly cost to incorporate this into their businesses. Something that we don't like to hide, because, you know, we think it's, you know, 2020, we're going to be very upfront with our pricing. Our pricing is $50, and it's US per user per month. I'm Canadian. Most people on this call, I'm sure, are Canadian. The reason we charge in US is because we are built on Zoho, and they charge us in US, and so we just want to maintain that currency and not get in trouble with the exchange rate. So it's $50 US per user per month. Perfect. Thank you. Another question that came in on text to me, Tom, is data updates. So if you update client data in Finmo or FiLogix, will it push the update through to BluMortgage?
Yeah, another good question. So absolutely. Well, let's start with the Finmo side of things. Absolutely. The big if, and this is an important if, is the emails have to be the same. Because we are a database, there's some conditions in place. So we say, if we can find the email in the system, we won't duplicate it, we'll simply update it. So someone you worked on maybe a bridge loan for a year ago, then they have updated information when they apply again. That's just going to simply update the existing contact and not create a duplicated contact. On the FileLogic side of things, it's not automatic, just to be transparent there again. So what would be involved to update that from FileLogics? 99% of people do this kind of on a weekly basis. You grab an extract from FileLogics, and we have an import wizard that allows you just in one click to update the information in BluMortgage based on that extract. So that one's a bit more manual, but the Finmo one is automatic.
Right, and that is a Finastra expert functionality concern, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We would love to do that, but yeah, it's a Finastra limitation, if you will.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, and people get that. So, and that's the big thing is database accuracy for people, and making sure that when a change happens, that they have the ability to easily go in here and do it. And that's, right. I think that's an important point for anybody throughout this. You know, whether you've been in business, you know, for the last 5 years, or you know, for 10 years, or just getting into the business, there's a certain, you know, that 20% that you have to do on your own database to maintain things. The key thing is that Finmo makes the experience better for clients, from application to document collection and communication throughout, and the ability to speak to your CRM. But you know, as automation improves and gets better with Zapier and with partners like yourself, I think that it's brokers will learn fairly quickly. This is an easy system to get into, and it's an easy system to maintain if set up properly, and the support being based on Zoho and then with your team, it's really good. And for those, I've been working with Tom and with Massimo from BlueRoot for quite a while now, and there's a lot of brokers using the Finmo platform that are engaging with BluMortgage and using it, and they've had some great success stories with it. So if you're looking for more information on BluMortgage, please just message us, and we'll get you guys set up to have a meeting with Tom or Massimo, and then get to see the system a little bit more. If you'd like to do another session on CRM Connect with Finmo, and just sort of get the feel for how Finmo can speak to, you know, whether it's your Gmail or anything like that, please also reach out to support@finmo.ca, and we will definitely help you get connected and learn how to use the system to its full potential. We're here at Finmo, and much to the chagrin of the rest of us in customer success, we have a very attentive leader with Marnie, and she'll answer your questions very quickly. It's almost like a contest every day to see if we can beat her. But we pride ourselves in making sure that we can get answers back to you really quickly. Is there any other messages? Or messages, pardon me, any other questions? All right, Marnie's just shared with us that this recording, as well as past webinars, will be shared, and you can find them on the help.finmo.ca site. You can see it there. A quick question, Tom, from one of the on text again, is, would you be able to show us how you can do create a report, so report generation?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, we can jump into that. Yeah, and one thing as I'm bringing this up, as I'd like to add, and you just kind of jogged my memory, Joe, as you were chatting there, is with that last 20%, something that we really, our kind of mentality is, okay, there's that last 20% of work that you know, has to be done, and we have services that can help you get there if you need to. But what we like is, hey, if you guys want to add a field, for example, or something, or just one automation, we really want to empower, you know, our users. You know, it's not worth your time, it's not worth our time for you to have to call us, you know, try and work out the conditions of, you know, how then where that work is going to get done. We really want to, you know, educate you as the customer on how to really make this your system, you know, yours. So that's really our mentality. Of course, we can help with things, but our first approach is always education and really empowering the user.
Yeah.
So with that being said, to the specific question around reports, so along the top here, there was a couple more tabs that I didn't touch on, but one of them is reports. So let's just jump into that. So real quick, we have a couple starred reports available for you, so you can start seeing, okay, my birthday's next month. Do I have anyone? Oh, looks like James Bond. He has a birthday in April. Great. So I know that, and that's available to me. Same with, you know, contact birthdays this month, similar type things. So you have those quickly available to you. But then if you did want to create a brand new report, very easy to do that. There's that big green button, create report. And then there's this very nice editor that walks you through the process of creating a report. So maybe something that we can do is we just want to create a report of all my variable rate mortgages. So let's do that. And related to contacts, we'll hit continue. This is just how do I want it to spit out. So kind of like a pivot table, something with subtotals, or just a table. So let's just stick with just a table for now. What do I want to actually appear in my report? So the mortgage name, the last name, maybe I also want to include the mortgage rate. So I'll add that. And then also the mortgage type. So that looks good to me. Maybe also I want to bring in the person's, why don't we do full name instead of last name here? So we'll just do that too. Hopefully what you're seeing here is how easy it is to select those columns. We'll hit continue. And then you just say, okay, what filters am I filtering on? So I want to do everything where I have a mortgage type, or pardon me, it should be rate type is variable, and I can start adding criteria. And then I also just want to look at everyone who I've actually closed a mortgage with, not, you know, people who I might have lost a mortgage. So stage is closed, mortgage closed. There we go. And so with those two things, I can just hit run. And just like that, I can see those people who have a variable rate mortgage. I can see their name. And what I can do if I hit save, so I'll just call this variable rate mortgages, is, and put on the mortgage reports, hit save, is now I can choose to send this as an email. So maybe to someone who's helping me with my marketing, I could send an email, or I can export it. So very easy to create and share reports within the platform.
Very cool.
Great. Any other questions that came through, Joe, for me?
Yeah. So one of the questions about the reports is the ability to click on a client's name in that list. Are you able to do that and then to push a templated email?
Yeah. So let's just see it as an example. So you could click in, and then this is Kathia here. I can choose to hit plus on the email side of things here. I could hit plus. Just because this is a test account, I can't show you it exactly. But if I was able to do that, I could select one of my templates and send it out. Another thing that might be relevant for that same list of people is I can also do the same filters from my mortgages view. So instead, I'm going to switch over to the tabular view. And I'm going to say, okay, same thing. I want to say the stage is mortgage closed, apply that filter, and then I also want the rate type to be a variable rate mortgage. So once again, the same 4 people show up in this view, and then I can select all of them and send a templated email. So you can create that report. Reports are great for just data reporting, but if you want to do actions based on reports, I definitely encourage you to use this view. So you could send an email, I could create a task, hey, just follow up with these people, rates are changing, whatever it is, you can start doing that here, even print mailing labels if you'd like to send them something. So a lot of power from using this particular view.
That's great. And then another quick question, they're all coming in on text for some reason, that's fine, is the ability to have segregated databases within Zoho. So say if you are, you have different databases, if you've purchased a database from another broker and you want to monitor that database, it's still part of your business, but you want to see it separately. Can you do that?
Right, yeah. So what I would kind of suggest as the best thing for that is what we like to call views, okay? So in this top left corner here, so this is all context, and I'm just seeing everything, and there's no organization whatsoever. But let's say you have a very common filter. So you find yourself, you know, so in that case, you have a separate database, maybe something that you acquired, whatever that is, and you want to track it separately. I'd suggest creating a field, right? So let's say we've created this field that says, you know, which database is it in? So now I can start filtering on that field. So that's step one, is understanding that you can add fields and, you know, use drop downs within that field to say which database something's part of. And then once you have that drop down available to you, you can create what's called views. So these are what like predefined filters. So the ones that we have are like clients, for example, so people who have closed a mortgage, versus potential clients, people who are working on a mortgage, and, you know, prospects who are people who, you know, haven't started anything yet. And so if you can just maybe, it's tough to show, but if you could just, you know, stretch of imagination here and say, okay, if I did have that drop down, in theory, I could create a new view and say, okay, I want to see all my contacts who meet this specific criteria. So I could say this drop down that I have is, and you could say it equals, you know, this database. And that way you have that very quick filter, what we call a view, available to you, so you can quickly segregate your data and see different aspects of your contact database. Tough to show without actually seeing it, but I hope
that makes total sense though. You just a number of different things over there, so I think that answers it. All right, well, that's so far all the questions I have on text. Is there any other questions from any of the people watching online? Please feel free to type them in, or you can unmute and ask a question. Well, fantastic. Thank you, everybody, so much for coming on today. We appreciate it, and a big shout out to Tom and the team from BlueRoot and their software, BluMortgage.
Yeah. Thanks to you, Joe, of course, for inviting us on. Hope this was informative for everybody. Yeah, and excited about the things that you know, we can really do between the two systems.
Fantastic. Again, thanks again, everybody, for coming on board, and watch for more Training Tuesday sessions coming out, and we look forward to seeing you online and helping you with your business. Have a great Tuesday, everyone.